How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another exciting episode of Power Pals Football, sponsored by Miller Lite. Host Josh Bassage, my co-host Steve Shaw and his fancy new hat this week, and then co-host Terry Coutant.
All right.
Week 2 predictions. As you can tell by Shaw's new attire, he had the most wrong answers last week. So
I took chances.
We'll start off again. Ready?
Yeah.
You're up first, and we're going to go Bills and Dolphins. Thursday night game.
I'm going with the Bills because the Bills have owned the Dolphins the last few years. Like 5-15 record, Dolphins against the Bills.
Okay.
And I don't know. I just going with the Bills. I think Allen's will give them fits. Josh Allen, that is.
Well, the only thing I got to say to that is I wish we had a good electrician here because this light's going to drive me nuts.
You work in the electric department.
Derek Coutant, you're up.
All right. Dolphins are favored by 2.5 points this week. Both teams are coming off big come from behind victories. Dolphins are at home. Whoever wins this game will have a kind of an inside edge on the AFC East race. And I'm going with the Dolphins at home.
Going with the Dolphins at home. You said Dolphins or you said Bills?
I said the Bills.
You said the Bills. All right.
Yeah.
I'm going with the Bills as well.
Buffaloes eat fish.
Last week, the Bills, came through. A lot of adversity. They were down bad against the Cardinals. The big thing for me, the key thing for the Bills this week is they need to run the damn ball. I think if they limit the amount of time that Miami's offense has the ball, I think they can easily pull this one out. And I think A-Chain is hurt, and I don't know what's going on with Mostert. So if Miami has no run game, they're just going to be looking to pass. They'll be one-dimensional. Like I said, I think if the Bills run the ball, they can easily pull this one out. All right, next up, Steve Shaw. We got your 49ers versus the Vikings.
Well, I wanted to pick the Vikings in week 1, and I backed out because of quarterback situation.
And peer pressure.
And anyway, got the hype on the Giants and kind of pushed me a different direction. But 49ers all the way. Vikings don't have a chance at home. 49ers is too much.
Too much, he says. Terry Coutant.
Well, 49ers are favored by 6 points on the road.
Which is a lot.
Yes, but I think they had too many weapons for the Vikings.
Yeah.
Even though it's still iffy if McCaffrey's going to play, but they had a pretty solid
That guy that filled in.
backup this week for 140 yards and a touchdown. Even though they're going to be on the road at Metro Stadium where they got the big horn and the guy with the big horns and outfit, I have to go with the 49ers.
Yeah, I'm going 49ers as well. On paper, they're a much better team. And the way they can run the ball, they can pass the ball, it's all short yardage. They can get chunk plays and everything. The big thing with the Vikings last week against the Giants that they were doing is they try to show blitz everything, but then every play, but then they'll have people drop back. The 49ers can run heavy personnel, and they can run it down their throat and basically take away the Vikings' strength, which is disguising coverages. So I'm going 49ers as well. I think it's going to be a lot worse than +6.
Yeah.
Next up, we got Seahawks versus the Pats. Steve Shaw.
The Seagulls versus the Patriots. The Patriots is going to have their muskets ready and loaded, and they're going to be shooting the goals out of the sky. I don't think the Gulls can handle the Patriots at home. I don't know really what the Pats have. They played a solid ball game, looks like, last week, but the Seagulls didn't really do much for me. They won. I didn't pick them last week, and I'm not picking them this week.
Your cadence you had, it sounded like you were reading from a children's book at the start of that.
No.
Terry Coutant.
Well, Pats are they're 3.5 point underdogs at home. Both these teams are coming off wins last week, but neither quarterback, Smith or Brissett, looked they didn't look great. Let's put it that way. Seattle biggest weapon last week was Kenneth Walker, the running back. He's got an ab injury. He may not play. It sounds like it's highly unlikely he won't. So with that fact, I'm gonna go with the underdog. I'm going with the Patriots at home.
I've also got the Patriots as well.
Mm-hmm.
Seattle week 1 was super sloppy. They allowed 2 safeties. On top of that, it was 26-20, and no matter what Steve Shaw wants to believe, Bo Nix sucks. Right now, he could get better, but Bo Nix sucks. And Bo Nix hung, let's see, minus the 2 safeties, 16 points on him. I don't think Seattle's defense is that great, and I think the Pats will be able to move the ball. Pats held the Bengals to, 10 points. On top of that, they forced 2 fumbles. I'm going with the Pats. Next up, game of the week for everybody except me. Giants versus Commanders, Steve Shaw.
Well, I picked the Giants last week. Boy, was I retarded. Excuse me. Was I dumb? But anyway, turned around and I'm not going with the Giants. They got to prove me something. I'm picking the Commanders. So I guess I think it's a toss-up, but Commanders being at home, I'm picking them.
Terry.
Well, Giants coming in as underdog.
As they should.
They're plus 1.5.
That's it.
Look, let's be honest. Daniel Jones has to wake up and play better to give this team a chance to win. Washington's rookie quarterback, Jaden Daniels, he didn't look great. Their defense looked worse. So, even though they're on the road, I'm going with the underdog on this one too, Giants.
I wish I had the same sentiment. After last week, I'm not supporting them until they show me something. Big thing for me is how the players acted after the game. I told Mr. Shaw this, but it's your season home opener. 100th season. 100 years of Giants football. You have all the old people, all the old legends like Lawrence Taylor, Carl Banks,
Old school
Mark
jerseys.
Bavaro, all that. You have them come to the game, and then you play like that. I think the Giants this year have a lot of bad personalities on the team. Kayvon Thibodeau didn't want to accept questions about why he sucked and then tried to change the answer. Now he's saying things like, oh, we don't really view the Commanders as an underdog, because we boys. I'm going Commanders by 20. That's my take on that. All right, next up, Chargers versus Panthers.
Chargers, no more to say. They're playing the Panthers. Chargers. That's it. They're playing the Panthers.
Terry, you're...
Well, Chargers coming off a win. Harbaugh got his first win. He'll get his second one on the road this week. Bryce Young didn't look very good. Neither did Herbert. Herbert wasn't that impressive.
Yeah.
But against the lowly Panthers, I'm going to have to go with the 6.5 point favorite Chargers.
On the same page, Chargers as well. Panthers did not look good last week. Thing with the Chargers as well is they don't even really need to throw the football. Last week against the Ravens, they had 176 rush yards. So, like I said, they don't even need to wheel a quarterback out there, just go all offense, and I think they could beat the Panthers this year. I think the Panthers are the only team that could challenge the Giants for worst team in the league right now. Next up, Saints versus Cowboys.
Well, my heart's a Cowboy fan. The Saints are coming off a big victory, scored a lot of points. I looked at some of the stats. They had decent rushing, and just they didn't have a contest. Just wasn't good for them. And but the Saints are going to come marching in, and they're going to go marching home with a loss. Cowboys.
Well, the Saints are marching in. Well, the Cowboys 6.5 point favorites. They're at home, but I'm looking for it to be a little bit closer game this week. David Carr had a solid game. I know it's against the Panthers.
Yeah.
Alvin Kamara had a real good solid game. Dallas will win the game, but I don't think they'll cover the spread.
You think it's going to be a close game?
I think it will be.
16-0 at home. Last 16 games.
I didn't say they were going to lose.
No,
They should have lost one last season.
They ain't going there.
Refs kept that streak alive. Anyway,
People are stupid.
I'm going with Cowboys as well. Like you mentioned, Derek Carr really didn't have to do a whole lot, so his numbers were great. You know, Alvin Kamara, once again, numbers were great, but I'm excited to see what Alvin Kamara can do against the Cowboys defense. You know, I've talked about, I think they got holes at, you know, D linemen, but this will be a good test for them to find out. But honestly, I just think that Michael Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence are going to kill Derek Carr. I don't think he's going to have really any time to do
He
anything.
will get the ball out more efficient than Deshaun Watson did.
Yeah, but
He knows how to read a defense quick and get the ball out of his hands. I don't know. I think the Cowboys win hands down, but I don't think they'll cover.
Diggs didn't look bad last week. I think if they just keep him over Chris Olave, I don't think Carr's going to have enough time to get the ball out, unless he's just throwing it out to the flat to Alvin Kamara. But we'll see. I think the Cowboys are going to crush him.
Overshow might have a big game and then get somebody like Kamara because he's got the speed to get out there.
He does have speed chase.
Yeah. So that helps. Yeah. I forgot to mention Overshow. He's solid.
Had a great game last week.
He's solid.
All right, next up, Charlotte's favorite quarterback, Anthony Richardson versus the Packers.
I don't like the Pack. I'm going with the Colts all the way because I don't like the Pack. I don't even know who's quarterbacking for the Pack.
It'll be Malik Willis.
Yeah. They give up a lot of points to Philadelphia, and I don't know if Philadelphia's got that powerful.
Powered offense.
And they still lost, and Philly had 3 turnovers. Come on. I'm going with the Colts. Bounce back week for the Colts.
It's really a bounce back. They hung like 28 points.
They lost, though.
No, I know. They lost. This is a bounce back.
You lose a game like that,
They
you're
did
ready.
way better than anyone predicted them to do.
The
last
first 2
week.
games on the road, they would go 1-1 on first 2 games on the road. It's pretty good.
All right, crazy guy.
All right.
Aaron Terry, what do you got?
Well, the Colts 3-point favorites in this game.
See?
Anthony Richardson, he looked like the real deal to me last week. They have a solid defense. Packers, they're going to be playing without Jordan Love. I think that spells trouble for them at Green Bay. Lambeau Field's going to lose. I'll take the Colts.
I agree. I'm going Colts as well since no Jordan Love. The one thing the Packers can do to win this game, though, is the Colts got absolutely dominated by the Texans' run game last week. If they get a good plan to just keep the ball in Josh Jacobs' hand and they're able to move the ball like the Texans were able to move the ball, the Colts allowed 213 rushing yards last week.
Yes.
Like, Josh Jacobs is a good running back. The Packers could pull this one out, but it's going to be on the back of Josh Jacobs. That's the only way they're doing it. I don't think Malik Willis is the guy that's going to, as long as he don't turn it over, they have a chance. But outside of that, because Anthony Richardson, other than the one throw, didn't really, blow my skirt up or anything like that. So I'm going to go with the Colts, but this could go the other way.
Yeah.
All right, next up, Browns versus Jags.
Well, I got Browns versus the Jags, and it should be Browns with the bags. Because it's time for the Browns to put paper bags on their head because they're that horrible. I know Dallas played a decent defensive game last week against the Browns, but they're horrible. And I'm going with the Jags. I think the long-haired Sunshine kid's going to be pretty good at
Sunshine's
home.
going to pull that.
Sunshine, yeah, probably about 2 touchdowns. I don't know. Browns, they got a lot of weight on them. It's going to be a long season for them if something don't change. It needs to change this game. If they don't show nothing this game, it's done for them. So, Jags.
Well, Jags, they're a 3-point favorite at home. Last week, neither of these 2 teams' offenses looked good at all. Their star quarterbacks were anemic. They didn't do nothing. Jackson's defense, they didn't look good at all either. So I think the Browns defense, they'll kind of rise up to the occasion a little bit.
Yep.
I'm going with the Browns.
I'm also going with the Browns. Defense is a big reason. On top of that, I mean, I think the Jags sacked, what's his name, Tua, twice the whole game, which isn't bad, right? 2 sacks isn't bad. But, I mean, Tua still had plenty of time to throw.
They gave up nearly 500 yards total offense.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Tua still had plenty of time to throw the ball. So that being said, I think Deshaun Watson will have time. On top of that, the fact that he can run is going to be another problem for the Jags defense.
For his life.
I'm going with the Browns as well. Next up, easy one. Jets versus Titans.
Yeah, I hate to say it. The Titans' offense is not very good. But Aaron Rodgers is going to have a field day. So I'm pulling the Jets.
Jets, Jets.
But it'll be Aaron and the Jets instead of Benny and the Jets. So go Jets. Yeah.
Yeah, Terry.
Well, Jets are favored by 3.5 points on the road.
Take the over. Take the over.
I think Rodgers, he'll be bounced back from last week's loss. Levi and the Titans, I don't think have a whole lot, except for Pollard had a decent game, but I don't think it's be enough. I've got the Jets.
I got Jets as well. I think Will Levis is that interception he threw at the end of the game to lose it, and he just drops to his knees and puts his hands on his head. I think he'll still be thinking about that.
Yeah.
You know, he throws 2 picks to Sauce Gardner this week. I don't see it with the Titans. This is an easy one for the Jets. There's just too much firepower between, Brees Hall, their running back. I can't remember his name. Between him, Aaron Rodgers, as long as they can keep him upright, he's gonna pick that defense apart like there's no way. All right, next up, the Buccaneers versus the Lions.
Well, cannons have been known to kill lions, and I'm picking the Bucks.
Here we go with them cannons.
My Oklahoma Sooner boy,
Mm-hmm.
had a heck of a game last week. 4 touchdown passes, probably the best stats of any quarterback last week out of all the
Who did he
games.
play?
I don't remember.
He played Washington.
Yeah, Commanders put 20 on them though, just so you be
At
nervous.
the end of the game.
Oh well. Anyway, I'm going with the Bucks. I still don't believe in the Lions, so that's it.
One day you'll be a Lions fan with
Never.
everybody else. Terry, you're up.
Lions are, they're 7-point favorites.
You're going to that.
They're both coming off pretty good wins. The Lions, they had to play their butts off to get that win.
Yeah.
And I think coming into
They
this
should have won the
game,
game.
huh?
They should have won the game.
Well, they did win the game.
Yeah, they should.
So,
And,
any given Sunday.
Even though it was overtime, they won the game.
Stafford.
I tell you, this one was a semi-tough one for me, but I think the Lions are going to be suffering from a big game letdown after winning that hard-fought game last week, and I'm going with the Bucks.
Woo!
That's my upset special of the week.
Boom! Cannons fired. Let's go.
You really think Cannon can kill a lion? That's what you to know. That's the side you're on.
I know. That's who I got.
I'm going Lions. I know you don't like him because he spells his last name wrong, but Jared Goff doesn't really need to do I don't think he'll need to do a whole lot this week. The Tampa Bay allowed 138 rush yards last week from a bad team,
That's what we do.
right? The what's it called?
The quarterback had all the rushing
I'm
yards.
sorry.
The quarterback had to run for his life.
No, the quarterback did not have all the rush yards.
No.
And then on top of that, the Lions had 163. The Lions had 163 rushing yards against a good team last week in a hard-fought game.
The Rams a good team.
70 of those yards were on the final drive of the game.
Yes.
I'm just saying.
And I believe the quarterback for the Commanders had 88 yards rushing last week.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
So, if
they
the-
will get the ball going on the ground, and that's going to hurt the Bucks.
You heard it here first.
I'm going Lions. I think the
I gotta
Lions
go
are going
Baker.
I'm going Lions.
Baker's going to have a season this year.
Yeah, and then when Baker gets his head ripped off in this game by Aiden Hutchinson, he's going to be like, oh man, these teams that I've been facing.
Yeah.
And then we'll be back to the basics for Baker. All right. Could go either way, but we'll see. Next up, easy game, Raiders versus Ravens.
I thought about it and thought about it. Raiders need a victory really bad. They're going to come in. They're going to fight as hard as they can, but they're still going to lose by 14 points to the Ravens. So, got to go the Ravens.
You don't think Gardner can get it done?
Oh, they got Minshew.
They got
No, if you shave that mustache, maybe.
His whole personality is that mustache.
Yeah, that's bad, you know. Ain't getting him nowhere. He's been on 14 teams. But anyway, Lamar Jackson's going to run for at least 70 yards against them.
At least 70 yards.
And Flowers is going to have 10 receptions. And they might use Andrews.
You never know.
But likely's likely to have a good game.
Likely is likely to have a good game. He had a good game last
I'm
week.
going to Ravens.
Yeah, Terry.
Well, Ravens are 9.5 point favorites. I don't see how. I don't see how any way the Raiders will stop Lamar Jackson and company. I don't think the porn star Minshew. I don't see him being able to do anything.
Yeah.
I just don't see it. I've got the Ravens.
Okay. Next up. Oh, I'm sorry. Ravens is easy. Yeah, sorry, my bad. I was taken back by the whole thing. I just wrote Ravens easy, so I just thought it was a gimme. That's all I have down is Ravens easy. All right. The next up, real game, Rams versus Cardinals.
You know, last year Rams, you know, Stafford was hurt a few times, you know, and they still got the playoffs.
Still got the play.
They still got playmakers.
All right.
You know, one of the receivers got knocked out there for a little bit. I don't know how bad he is. I didn't do no research on
He's
it.
out.
But anyway, they still got Cup.
He had a big game.
And Stafford looked good. He a little rusty looking, a little scary, little thing. He blew the game last week. He threw an interception at halftime right in the end zone. That's 3 points messing up.
Yeah.
Might have saved them down the line. They might have went home with victory. So Rams, I know they're playing the Cardinals at Arizona.
The Rams are a good team.
I think the Rams are a solid team.
Oh, they're solid. Team.
They're better than the Cardinals, so I'm going with the Rams.
Okay. I was wondering because the Lions beat them, so they're a solid team.
I don't think the Lions. I think the Rams beat themselves.
I was just messing.
Well, the Rams are a 1 point dog in this game.
That's it.
1 point. On the road.
Home team advantage.
This is their second road game. They're back-to-back road games for them. But I think they've got more going for them, even with Nakua out.
Yeah.
And that's going to hurt them a little bit. But I still think they can go into Arizona and beat Kyler Murray and the Cardinals. I'm going with the Rams.
All right. I'm going Rams as well, but my one thing for the game is they need to get the run game going. They got to maintain possession in this game. Kyler had his struggles last week, but I mean the Bills are a good team. He put up a lot of points, so I just think they got to keep the ball out of Kyler's hands. Kyler's got better weapons this week or this year. Rams got to get the run going because the last 2 years it seems like the Rams have had a good run game, and this last week they didn't really. But on top of that, the big thing for me is I trust Stafford more than I trust Murray.
Yeah.
Like if it is a close game, I think Stafford's got better chance of pulling it out. Like Murray had the chance last week to win it, but couldn't get it done.
This is a division game too, right?
Yes.
Yes. All right. Big game.
Anyway, next up, Super Bowl rematch from a couple years ago.
Well, one of these things